these days.
Can you watch? Can you watch? Can you hear yourself?
Hear myself.
Hear myself.
I
All
can
right.
hear you. I can hear him. I can hear.
And we're
We're
live.
Welcome to the Big Hammock podcast.
Yeet, yeet.
Huge announcement today. First of all, we got director Malcolm Sear, producer Travis Cecil. Big announcement today, gentlemen. All the way from Ocala, Florida, we are coming to the Morgan County Opera House. This is big.
Yeah.
Guys, this is known across the world as the Twin City Opera House. Listeners, Google Twin City Opera House, and you will see what it is we're talking about. It's in Morgan County, Ohio, Thursday, June 19th. This is a Thursday night, June 19th. For us, it's going to be a 38-hour round trip. We're driving up, we're doing this show, and we're coming back home. So it's a big event for us. And I'm not just excited about this. I am ecstatic about this.
Oh, yeah.
This place holds 500 people, okay? And that is not even what I'm ecstatic about. What I'm ecstatic about, guys, is this is where I'm from. I am from Morgan County, Ohio. This opera house is where I saw the movies when I was growing up. I saw movies like Lion King, Toy Story, Home Alone 2, right? And let me tell you, I remember the opera house being packed full, 500 people in there, which is crazy when you think about Morgan County, because let me tell you about this town, all right? You see, Ocala gets a bad rap from the city folk, right? Because compared to Jacksonville, Orlando, Miami, Tampa, you hear from them city folk, they don't like Ocala, right? They don't like Ocala because there's nothing to do. You can't go anywhere without running into somebody you know, right? And, even us, we live on the outskirts of Ocala. We live more in the country. But let me tell you about Morgan County, Ohio, compared to Marion County, Florida, which is, where Ocala is. The population of Marion County, which you guys know, is 400,000 people.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? The population in Morgan County, Ohio, is 13,000 people.
Ooh,
So this legitimately
a
is
small town.
a small town, right? This is the town where everybody knows everybody, legitimately, right? So I never went through the school system, the Morgan County school system,
Yeah.
right? But there's one high school in the whole county. We got like 8
That's
here
crazy.
in Marion County,
Yeah.
right? So they got one high school in the whole county. There's no Walmart, right?
Uh-oh.
They got 2 grocery stores. If we were to combine these grocery stores together and make them one building, they still wouldn't be the size of one of our Publixes.
Daggone.
Okay, so I'm trying to give you guys a perspective as to what this town looks like, and let me tell you, the community there is something special. 13,000 people. The community there is one that I look forward to going to every time I visit. See, in 1998, I'm doing a history lesson here.
There you go. We got to learn.
My parents moved us down from Florida. See, my dad was a horse trainer. This is horse country here in Ocala. That's why we're here. But the rest of my family is in Morgan County, Ohio. And I want to talk about my family real quick. Shout out to my sister, D Mummy. She's been waiting for a shout out. I know that she is definitely going to be very excited, along with the rest of my family. They're I'm telling you, as they're watching this, they're getting hyped right now as we can speak. I'm confident in it. And I'm not trying to brag about anything here, but I really want you guys to understand where it is that I come from, because I'm not bragging. I truly am humble about this because I believe I had something special growing up, right? So, for example, and again, I'm not trying to get sentimental with you guys or, make a big deal out of this, but to this day, my parents are still happily married, right?
Yeah.
All of my aunts and uncles still married, right? I did have an uncle that passed away, but my grandparents still married, right? Till death do us part is what our family's been. Now, me and my cousin's generation, we screwed it up. We all got. There's still a couple of us that a couple of them stayed married. Shout out Bane and Robin. They're still they got it right the first time, but we screwed everything up. Us cousins did, but we grew up very, very close together. Yeah. Because of what we had, right? I mean, Malcolm, Travis, between the three of us, and Malcolm, I've known you longer than Travis, maybe between us two, we could probably hold our one hand out here and count the friends that we know whose parents are still married.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There are not very many of them. Travis,
maybe two.
I
mean, my mom and dad were on that hand, but
yeah,
he had to go where he had to go. Not that they got a divorce, but what's up, Pop?
So my point is that knowing what I had was something special. The family, us cousins growing up, very, very tight. Which I think, Malcolm, is why you and me have been so close together as friends, because you're very close with your cousins, right? I started coming around when we were all in middle school. I can't tell you how many birthday parties I've been to, whether it was yours when we were growing up or Dale's when we were growing up, and now, our kids and all that kind of stuff. And it's the same people every single time. You got your Aunt Sissy, your Uncle Eddie, your Aunt Tanya, so on and so forth. Your cousins, I can name them off. You got, Willie, you got, it's on the top of my head, Catlin, just so on and so forth, right? I think that's what's drawn you and I personally so close together, because of the tight knit relationship that you have with your family. I think we were instilled values of loyalty,
Right.
yeah. And I think that there's nothing more that says something to us than somebody who's got your back.
Right.
I've shown plenty of times throughout my life, and we've shown each other we got each other's back.
Right,
and
right.
That's what's made us so loyal to each other, and shout out to my cousins up there. I'm so excited about going to the Opera House. My aunts and uncles, they've been supportive of this. I've already had, an aunt reach out to me, had me sign a DVD copy, send it up, I'm really, really excited about being able to share this movie with not just my family, but the community of Morgan County, right? This is a tight knit community there, right? If somebody, God forbid, has an accident, like the family's coming together, the community's coming together, they're doing fundraisers, everybody's supporting each other. It's a community like that. There's the Muskingum River that runs through it. My grandparents had a house on the Muskingum River just below the Stockport Dam, which, again, people in Morgan County would know, what I'm talking about, and picture this in my head. But for me, growing up on that water, and I've been, my granddad had a pontoon boat. We rode up and down that river. This is back in the 90s, so there was a cassette tape player in it. He had Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh, Achy Breaky
Heart. All the grandkids singing that on the boat and all that kind of stuff. But, it was more than that, right? We would float down the river. This river is muddy as all get out. You can't see, and you can't see if you put your hand in front of it. Now, in Florida, we would never swim in water like that.
No.
Gators, water moccasins, we swim in, lakes that are somewhat clear. You can still see the bottom. We swim in springs, right?
Yeah.
But that muddy water, some people wouldn't get into it because they just can't believe it, right? But me, I'm jumping in head first. There's nothing in that water to get. That is my favorite water to be in ever. It's my favorite place in the world, is that river right there. And I've been to the big cities. I've been to those ones that we were talking about: Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville. I've been out to LA. I'm not a city guy, right? Ocala is in between what we're talking about here. This is a small town. This is I've been in the mountains. I've been up in the Tennessee mountains, the Carolinas. My favorite place to be on is the Muskingum River. We just had something go on. Okay. So when I talk about my grandma that was on that river, or that had the house on the river, she was a retired bus driver. There's people in the community right now that she probably, or not probably, she could have been their bus driver.
Oh, wow.
And I've had people talk to me about it. Now, when you picture a bus driver, again, this is my grandma we're talking about. So put yourself in the mind frame of the movie Forrest Gump
No.
when he first gets on the bus when he's a kid, right? That bus was a stick shift bus. And again, this is southeastern Ohio, so it's very, very hilly, right?
Yeah.
Especially compared to here in Florida. And it snows, right? So stick shift bus, all these kids, in the school, snow, all that kind of stuff. She was known. I've had people tell me she was the best bus driver I ever had. Like, they remember being trapped in snow. She was like, "Hold on, kids, we're getting to school." I had, and I don't remember if it was, again, you guys wouldn't know these people, but it was Matt McCoy or Sarah Boone, friends of the family. But they told me specifically that Grandma was their bus driver.
Wow.
And there were things that she did back in the day when she was their bus driver that you couldn't get away with today. Right. So, for example, sometimes she would be ahead on her bus route. So if she would have got to school, she would have got to school like 30 minutes early, and they would have had to wait in the line and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow.
So she just pull over into a cornfield randomly on the side of the road, let all the kids off the bus, and have a recess for the kids, and then load them back up on the bus and take them to school in the morning.
Oh, you'd be fired today.
Right? And not to mention the high schoolers, right? If you got caught smoking on the bus, could you imagine being caught smoking a cigarette on the bus in school? Could you imagine?
I mean, I got busted smoking in school.
How'd that work out for you?
It didn't work out too good.
Grandma will just tell you to put it out.
Right.
Get that cigarette out and stop that smoking, or, whatever it may be. But, Grandma, was a great bus driver. Again, the community there's people in the community that would still remember her as their bus driver. My other grandma is a retired teacher in the school system, along with my aunt, retired schools teachers, elementary school teachers.
Nice.
A lot of people in the community. My grandma taught them. My aunt taught them. And, we used to do things every summer, like, go to the public pool. It was called the M&M pool, right?
Oh, wow.
And it is, it's not there anymore. But again, picture Sandlot, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Favorite movie.
Had the diving boards and all that kind of stuff. There was a high dive and a low dive, and you could do, your tricks off the diving board, your flips, your back flips, whatever it may be. But I remember that swimming pool being slam pack full when I was growing up, just full. And there towards the latter years, kind of, I think everybody just started getting their own pools, and it wouldn't be as busy as what it was. And a couple years ago they closed it down. And filled it in. It's not even there anymore.
No.
But I had guys like my brother-in-law. I found out later he was actually a lifeguard there.
Oh, wow.
Right. So we didn't know it. We didn't even know of each other. Right. Tim McCoy is my brother-in-law, was a lifeguard there. Brady Harrison, again, some names you haven't heard, but he lived across the street from my grandma for years. And he was a lifeguard there. And odds are, again, this is foreign language to you guys, but odds are both of those guys benched me. And what that means is, so anybody who's in Morgan County knows what I'm talking about, right? So along the pool was all these benches.
Yeah.
Right. And the way that they set these the sessions, the swim sessions up, is at the top of the hour. So say it's 12 o'clock, right? At 12 o'clock, the lifeguards would stand up on there and they'd blow the whistle. The whistle meant that all the kids can jump in the pool. And then at 12:45, they would blow the whistle again, and there'd be a 15-minute break with no lifeguards. That's when the adults could jump in the pool. And they would do this every hour on the hour and all that, and so on and so forth. Well, you had rules to follow. Right. And can you imagine, Malcolm was a little rambunctious kid.
Couldn't imagine.
And if I was breaking the rules, the lifeguards had the authority to bench me. So I would have to sit on the bench and wait for that session to expire. Once they blew their whistle for the break, I was able to get up, go back, and wait for the next session to be able to jump back in the pool.
Oh, wow.
And again, this stuff is, I think that this stuff is very sentimental to the community in Morgan County because it's just not there anymore, right? You know, I used to go golfing at the Morgan County Fairgrounds. You know, I was there when you know, we did summer leagues, we did in between leagues. I was there when Jordan Huck, again, name you guys wouldn't know, but he hit a hole in one on hole 6, right? And he was young, like it was definitely, you know, I don't know if he was in high school even. He might have even been in middle school. Hit a hole in one. It was cool, right? I was there. You know, but that golf course isn't there anymore. You can't golf there anymore.
Oh, wow.
It's since been you know closed or whatever it may be. And then the fairgrounds. Listen, when I was growing up, and it still is to this day, they closed the public school system the whole entire week that the county fair comes to town.
Oh wow.
The whole week, no school. Right now, back in the day, this was a big thing. Like you know, the Alachua County Fair. You know, like times two though. Like it was a big deal. You know, now so much. Now so I went last year. Last year was the first time I went in years. My main thing was to go watch the harness horse races. Had a blast doing that. But the rides weren't there. And it's been like that for some time. But the last time I went before last year was 1998. So things have changed since then. And the reason why I'm talking about all those stuff is, you know, we're getting ready to show this movie in Morgan County, Ohio at the Opera House. Man, when I look, that's the one consistent thing, right? You know, it was built in 1892. It's a historic landmark. Travis, you've been Googling stuff.
Yeah,
Malcolm,
I've been researching.
Malcolm, I've been telling you some stuff about it. You know, the pool's not there anymore. The golf course isn't there anymore. You know, the fair isn't what it used to be. But you know, the Opera House is. And I am so excited about this, as you guys can tell. I'm telling you about all this stuff. I'm telling you about my childhood. You know, I'm really trying to paint a picture for you guys as to what this community is like and what this community means to me and you know how excited I am about it. And you know, I can remember those movies that I talked about.
Yeah.
Toy Story, Home Alone 2. That Opera House was full, right? And I don't know, you know, how often it gets full anymore. They do other things there. I know you've seen the events.
Oh yeah.
You know, but I got a goal. We got a goal. We're going to get 500 people in the Opera House.
We're gonna pack it up.
We're gonna
we're going to get 500 people in the Opera House.
He's on pause.
Listen, Morgan County.
Yeah,
we're coming.
Let's go.
We're coming, and I am. You know, I'm excited about it, as you can tell. Let's get ready to pack this house for a showing. I know that you guys have many questions, many things you want to say. Number one, we need to talk about the movie for Morgan County, right? We need to let them know, you know, what this movie's based on, what this movie's about. You know, maybe give them some inside information as to, you know, what we did to get where we did.
Yeah.
You know, let's have some fun with this episode. Let's let Morgan County know what Ocala is bringing to the table.
Right. So since you did a 20-minute introduction for the episode, which I guess about half my night, I got a question. How long of a drive is this? One way.
Depends on how fast we go, but it could be 12 to 14,
Yeah.
12 to 15 hours.
I've already been routing a course.
Mm-hmm.
There goes my backwards.
Look. I'm telling you right now.
I-95.
Listen.
14.5 hours one way with some pit stops because I'm old.
Oh, great.
Bro, we're going to have to get you some Gatorade bottles.
Bro, he got to
Some
pee in a bottle.
Gatorades or some Depends or whatever.
We're gonna get you some Depends, old man.
Hey, that nurse made that trip that one way. I could do it too.
Well, my thing is, okay, so we got us a long drive, right?
Yeah.
So I would like to do a podcast on the trip.
Yeah.
And we can document up and back, obviously up what our expectations are going to be, what we're going through, and then on the way back, how it went, you know, depending on how good it goes, you know. So I do want everybody to know to stay tuned into the YouTube channel and the Facebook and the Spotify and everything, because we are going to do a podcast in the car. It's going to be new. It's going to be different.
Road show.
It's going to be a road show, and I'm not sure how we're going to pull that off, but I'm
We're gonna pull it
determined to
off.
figure out
We're gonna
how
pull
we're
it
going to
off.
pull it off. And that could be a good segue into Trav's surprise. So,
All right.
So Trav has
So-
a surprise for Zach.
So, I thought I was going to wait for a couple more days, but we're going to go ahead and put it all out there. So, as much as I love this podcast and all the hard work that everybody's been doing to contribute to it, I had to do a little investment because we gotta step our game up. I love our setup. I love what we do.
All the wires.
Their wires are everywhere, but that's all right. It's a podcast. We upgraded. So, because I believe in everything that you're doing, we got a brand new switchboard coming in. It's going to have all the mic controls. We'll be able to mix everything down. It's made by Rode. It's the Podcaster Pro 2. So we'll be able to run all 4 mics, not worry about feedback. There's a lot. The past few days I've been studying everything about this.
There's even a button you can press to get cheers and claps, and you could dedicate to certain sounds.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So we can have some sound effects.
Heck yeah.
But one of the even cooler things is because we're doing everything the way we're doing it now, so we can connect our phones to it via Bluetooth. So that way, we got people that want to make calls and call into the show, talk to us live on air. However we want to set it up, or we got a guest that just can't make it. So that way we can make sure that, that audio is always going to be clean. And that, like I said, that's how much I love what we're doing together. I think we're creating something. I think we're creating a lot of buzz. I watch the analytics all the time. I see what's going on YouTube. I see what's going on Apple and Spotify. Like, the word's starting to get out there. So why not invest a little money into the show, keep the show going, keep it fresh, and just step it up a little bit professionally.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Big
That is
surprise.
cool.
So
That
yeah.
is absolutely
So Merry
cool.
Christmas early.
Heck yeah.
Don't let me down.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna get very, very familiar with this switchboard, especially with the sound effects, bro. I'm gonna have some fun with that.
Yeah, you can preload. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. So
Like,
it'll recognize every mic. It'll set everything. It's got its little presets, and we can go in there and tweak everything that we need to tweak it to. Because I know we got some. Every once in a while, we use a condenser mic. We use these mics, so that way everybody has the same levels and sounds and different things like that, and it can just come out a lot more professional. And then that way, it's got a 9-track mixing system that he can actually mix everything down before it goes into Adobe to get everything ready for the shows on YouTube. So
heck yeah.
yeah.
You know what we need to do for the car ride? The clip mics.
Yeah, that's one thing this does too. This works off phantom power.
The clip mics.
Whatever. I don't know what you call them, but the ones that you can snap on your shirt.
Well, you got lapels
Whatever.
and you got wireless. It's all right. It's all right. You're
This is
learning.
where my radio show skills come into play. You want me to do a sound check?
That had a cord on it.
Yeah.
Wasn't plugged in there.
So
Hey, I did want to say about my sister. She's my favorite sister. So what if she's my only sister?
She's still my favorite. So I wanted to talk about that, and so we got the surprise out of the way.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about Trav's sleepless nights that are coming up for the DVD runs.
Massa got me working. Days never finish. Someday Massa set me free. So yeah. So not only do I work 13 and 14-hour days all day long, some good customers, some bad customers, but we won't talk about that. I get phone calls during the day. Hey, how many DVDs we got? Hey, how many Blu-rays we got? Like, bro, I'm telling you, as soon as I get home, that's the first thing I do. We set them up, we keep it going, and then I get a call today. Hey, how fast can you press 50 more? I'm like, bro, I got one burner. One burner, but that's all right. We'll upgrade that later on, but no, it's all right.
So in other words, we're putting them to the test. We're
Yeah.
really trying to test out this whole DVD pressing gig.
Yeah.
And I think it's going pretty good.
It
Yeah.
absolutely is going good. How many times have we sold out already?
We're up.
I mean, it's hard to keep up, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, I'm on my last. I'll say we started with 400. I got a whole. I want to say a hundred and well, almost a 200 bundle set left. A little less,
So we've
but
probably
yeah,
sold half of
yeah.
what we initially started with.
Mhm.
And then we got the re-up on the Blu-rays. We got more ink coming in to get everything going. We got new cases that are going to be coming in on Wednesday. So we're definitely keeping it flowing and keeping it working.
So how many DVDs and Blu-rays do you think we'll have ready for Ohio?
For this trip, brother, I'm putting in overtime. We're going to
We're
push
3
it as
weeks
hard
away.
as I can push.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, if we can double the amount that we brung, I'd love to burn through everything. I mean, now that I got a timeline and I got an actual, I know it's about what 3.5 weeks.
yeah,
Keep
about
in
I
mind,
can
3 weeks.
push.
keep in mind, I'll probably throw something our way in
Yeah,
between now and then.
yeah,
You know, random racetracks,
yeah. Oh yeah,
events.
yeah. Thanks for
You
that.
know
Yeah,
what I
that's where the
mean?
extra 50 from that phone call came today. But don't worry, I got to
Random,
watch the kids tomorrow. What the best way to
rand,
watch the kids is not watch them at all and burn discs. So
They
yeah.
watch themselves at that
random.
age.
Well, one of them does.
There's going to be a random public event that we're going to need to show up at between
Okay.
now and then. You
All
know?
right, that'll work.
Yeah.
So keep a lookout for that. Is there anything you want to add?
Um, about the Opera House? Because
Yeah.
I got some stuff that I want to talk about before we even get on the road.
Let me close my notes. Shoot,
So I've been doing my research.
Trav,
I'm
don't bring it up.
No, I got to bring it up. There's been a lot of people at this place. One in particular.
Hmm.
They don't even know if he's real, dude. They just named this dude Charlie. He comes out of the basement every once in a while. This is where we're going.
Oh man, here we
The
go.
Osbournes had it. I seen that episode. Yeah, where
So
y'all taking?
you want the truth?
Yeah, I want the truth.
All
And
right.
what about the Shadow Man?
I'll tell you the truth.
I got them all down pat.
I'll tell you the truth.
Okay.
All right. The truth is
Talking to the mic.
The truth is that you are going to go all throughout this opera house, even where your greatest fears are.
Where's your greatest fears?
You're not getting me in the basement.
You're going to the
Continue.
basement. You're going to
Well,
So listen. I want to tell you a little rundown about the opera house. And again, I don't know everything, right? But I had a cousin that worked at the opera house.
Okay. See, there you go.
And
Told you.
All right, so hear me out. I'm fixing to tell you everything, right? So my parents used to send me and my brother up to Ohio every summer.
Yeah.
You know, they had a great summer, no kids, all that kind of stuff. Right? So, but I had a cousin again worked at the opera house that summer, and I hung out every Friday night. I was there every Saturday night or whatever. Whenever there was a movie and she was working, I
Mhm.
hung out at the opera house. And I had to wait after the movie, right? They were cleaning, vacuuming, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, right? And there's the catwalk, right? I'm
Mhm.
sure you saw that.
Oh, yeah.
The movie screen, it is pulled up into the rafters
Yeah, that's what I
when
was
it
wondering
doesn't
how
play.
that worked.
And it's just done by a rope pulley system.
Okay.
So it's and if I remember correctly, it takes two people. You got one guy on each side, and they're both
All right.
pulling it up the same way. So I've been back there, right?
Mhm.
I've been up where the projector screen is,
Nice.
that paints, and I'm telling you all that because I've never seen any ghosts in that place ever. I've never seen anything.
See me in the internet's line.
I've never seen anything. And my sister, along with a lot of other people, right? Like there's,
Mhm.
that it does more than just the movies there.
Mhm.
They do plays and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And my sister, anytime that they did the plays, they did their dressing down
Yeah.
underneath under the stage. She's been down there plenty of times. There's nothing to worry about.
What
I
about
want to
the?
take you under the I want to take you under the stage because I don't know exactly how much research you've had. I love the opera house for the historic
Yeah.
purposes of it. This thing, started out there's Morgan County at one time was, I think there was like 30,000 people that lived there, right?
Mhm.
And this was back in the early 1900s. It was a well-populated town, and it was that way because of the river running through there, that kept the economy going in that town.
Yeah.
And over the course of time, it turned into movies and all that kind of stuff, and I forgot where I was going with this.
Y'all are
Ain't-
trying to get my mind
No,
off
no,
of what
no,
the
no.
internet's been telling me.
Ain't no ghost but the Holy Ghost,
That's
brother.
right.
Come on now.
So
That's what the Bible says.
there's no ghost, Travis. That's all there is.
That's
to-
where you was going with
That's
that.
what I was going with. There's no ghost, Travis.
What about the tunnels?
Oh, that's what I was trying to tell you. So there was a
tunnels?
fire underneath the stage.
Yeah.
Like the opera house almost burnt down to the ground.
Wow.
To the point where the time of this fire, they only had it was like the brigade fire department that put it out. Like
Oh, wow.
that was what's and it was under the stage. Well, you can still see to this day where the like the charred wood that caught on fire
Oh,
under
wow.
the stage.
Okay.
And then again, they had live shows there, so there was the cast would have the trap doors where they would slide down underneath the stage to
Mhm.
do a quick change or whatever it may be. Under the stage, you can still see the cutouts
Oh, wow.
where those trap doors were once upon a time. So it's actually some pretty interesting stuff going on under that stage. On the back side of the building, there's great big huge narrow long and skinny door that don't even look like a door, but they used to that's what they used to get the backdrops in that way.
Oh, nice.
We're gonna check it all out. We're gonna see
So how does that branch off? Because I've seen a lot of photos, and I've seriously been doing a lot of research because I think
Mhm.
I think the history behind it is really cool.
Mhm.
But where like the wings branch off.
Yeah,
So-
I just showed Malcolm a picture of it.
All right. And if I got it right from the research I was doing, so it was like the mayor's place too. Was that correct, or was I reading something wrong on that?
No, so the courthouse is across the street.
Okay, the courthouse. Okay.
They did find, so there was some electricians that they was modernizing the electricity in the building when they was renovating it, and they found a hidden stairway that goes down
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
another part that had
Another
access.
part of the opera house.
Yeah, it had access from other ways, but it was like this secret stairway that it had.
Because there is another floor with what was a ballroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
yeah,
there
that's what it
there
was.
was supposed to be offices on another floor too for government purposes and all that kind of. And
Okay.
I could be wrong on that, but this is what the screen looks like.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now I have seen that online.
So
That's nice.
and it's
Yeah,
big.
That's
It's big.
That's huge.
It is. The picture doesn't do it justice how big the screen is. It's a nice size screen.
Yeah. I can't wait for that.
Yep.
So
It's going to be cool.
it's gonna be cool. Yeah.
It's really going to be cool.
And if-
I'm super stoked about it. So again, Morgan County,
We're coming.
we're coming.
And anybody locally that wants to go too, man, plan a trip, just
Yeah.
follow us up. I mean,
let's
wh-
carpool it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
whoever wants to go and is, cast crew or just even listeners, if you got some time you want to take and do a little vacation and go up there and check it out, more than welcome to come. We're
Yeah.
just gonna go up there and do our thing.
Yeah.
Thursday the 19th.
Thursday the
Nice.
19th.
You were asking how long it's going to take. You make fun of Travis for being an old timer. I'm an old timer myself, Malcolm, and
I'm gonna be doing most of the driving.
probably. So
Already know it.
I'm thinking to myself, what's the total trip going to be? And I'm figuring 38 hours.
Yeah. We've done it before.
38 hours.
So, what do we think? Wednesday night, leave around midnight.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
After church,
Okay.
load up and go.
All right. So that's call it midnight Thursday morning, right? We have the show at 7:00 Thursday. That'll be an hour and a half, 8:15. So listen, again, Morgan County. So Thursday night, we know you got to go to work. There's no school. It is the summertime.
Nice.
But this movie's still going to be done early enough for everybody to go home and go to bed if you got to work. So,
Right.
but we'll definitely have a meet and greet afterwards.
Oh.
Let's just say we're there till 10:00. Add 14 hours to that. I'm at 38 hours on my math.
Woo. We've done it before.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be that long, bro.
Think so?
Bro,
Because you figure like this, right? Okay, maybe hold on.
just say it's 14 hours there and 14 hours back. That's only 28 hours.
No,
You're at
I was looking at the map the other day, and between Virginia and West Virginia, every once in a while there's a boo boo on the road.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, right? Like you're talking about leaving midnight.
Yeah.
We're gonna be there by
to the next
to
day,
the next day, right?
Yeah.
So we're waiting around 4 hours.
catching some sleep.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm old. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get some sleep.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll pull off into a
I'm gonna
Walmart
jump
parking
in-
lot. Oh, there
That
is
was-
no Walmart.
I'm gonna I'm gonna jump in the river.
We can go. Yeah.
You know, I was talking to my sister. You know, it'd be a good thing. There's a brewery there. It's a high class brewery. We can eat something, like go do a meet and greet, eat, and like it would hold enough people in the community. Is what I'm saying.
Nice.
Like we could do some type of a dinner before the movie, a
That'll
meet
be
and
nice.
greet type thing.
Yeah. Anything else?
I don't know. What y'all trying to hide from me? Y'all keep looking this way like I got something
We could do
y'all
the
are
Chatterbox.
planning.
Do the Chatterbox. You're looking. That's a restaurant. Chatterbox. We can
There
do
you
the
go.
Chatterbox. You want to Google the Chatterbox? You had to Google everything else.
I went through all my notes.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
All right.
As long as Charlie stays in the basement, we good.
Charlie ain't coming out the basement.
Ain't no Charlie there.
Maybe Uncle Charlie will go with us.
I did contact my brother, so he's gonna make the trip from Toledo down.
So listen.
That's about 3.5 hours, and the rest of my family in Toledo, if they want to come, more than welcome.
I don't have no
we
family
gotta
in
call.
Ohio.
We gotta call Derek Linville out. It's only 3 hours from him in West Virginia. I'm gonna call out the community of Morgan County, Ohio. Right, cousins, aunts, uncles, friends,
In the surrounding areas.
Yeah.
Tell everybody. Tell your friends. If we, if we got flyers, we can send up. We can send up stuff to put at the local businesses there. We also are going to reach out to the Morgan County Herald, which is a newspaper there.
Researching that today too. Yeah,
yeah.
I got all the contact information. I mean, I know you're a hometown boy, but yeah, I've been doing my research.
Travis, I love you.
Yeah.
He's like
Already-
Morgan County Herald. He
Yeah.
knew it. He's all
Yeah.
over it, bro.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And there's a radio station out there, W Jaws, 101.
yes,
We try to contact them.
W
Yep.
Jaws 101.
There you go.
I have no idea who.
It's a local
he knows
radio
more about
station.
he knows more about your hometown than you do.
No.
Bro, when we're planning road trips, I got to know where I'm going.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, you were talking about your research and all that.
Mhm.
Again, I was 11 years old when we moved here.
Man,
I have never used a GPS or a map when I go up there, ever. I know my way up there like the back of my hand. For real. Like, we're...
well, you can do that when you drive, but when I drive, Google's going to tell me where I'm going.
I'm going to sleep.
I'm gonna be doing all the driving.
I'm going to make sure that I'm doing all the sleeping. No, I'll tell you what.
Do we go through Tennessee?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
So-
So it's...
We will see south of the border,
yeah.
so we'll be going up through that way.
Going that
So it's going to cut up through Savannah, go
Yep.
through South Carolina, North
Yeah.
Carolina, Virginia,
It's,
West Virginia.
Oh,
It's
that way.
Yep.
we'll take 95 up like you
Yep.
said. We'll run into we'll go through all of Georgia on 95, and then in
Mhm.
South Carolina we'll go on I-26, which starts going
Yep.
west. And then we'll take I-26 to I-77, and that'll
Yep.
take us through the heart of the mountains.
Yeah.
But I-77 will take us right in. We're I-77 straight into Ohio, exit 6. We're right out, we're 6 miles into Ohio, getting off at exit 6 and taking her on into
Coming on the
Morgan County,
backside of
Ohio.
backside of Cincinnati. We ain't got to go through that traffic.
So my geography sucks. What all states will we go through? South
We'll go-
Carolina?
North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Virginia's a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
Or you know how Virginia's kind of shaped like this, and then it gets narrow off to the side. We're going to go through the narrow part.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like when we took that trip and come through D.C. and went through Maryland. That was like
Quick.
20, 30-minute drive. Just
Yeah.
boop, right across the street.
Okay. Sounds good.
There you go.
Sounds good.
I'm excited to meet these town folk.
You ain't going to interview nobody about no ghosts.
I might have to. I'll do my
Trav.
own. I'll do my own podcast. We're gonna
Trav.
come on the
I
side.
knew
This is gonna be
that
fun.
this was going to be Travis's big thing.
Yeah,
Bro.
bro, I'm excited.
I'm bringing my Bible and I'm going to preach him about the Holy Ghost while you trying to ask him about the ghosts.
Well, you can do dominus, ominous, whatever y'all do. But I'm gonna talk to some people. I'm gonna get it down. I'm gonna get some information going. I done seen these videos where these people come out with claw marks. Now, granted, there's edit. I know how to edit. But I'm just saying, Charlie ain't gonna get me.
It's all fake, Travis.
Yeah, it's
Let me
all right.
stop. Edit that out. I don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
You know?
No. We're not editing that out. It's fake, okay? It is fake, bro. Bigfoot's real, but ghosts are fake.
Yeah. Made a movie about Bigfoot, but we can't meet Charlie.
Let's talk about that for the folks in Morgan
Yeah.
County, though. Right?
Yeah, what do they call Bigfoot?
Bigfoot,
Bigfoot,
Sasquatch,
Sasquatch.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's.
I think the
Midwestern.
only we call it the skunk ape, and then
Yeah.
out west they call it the Yeti.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's Bigfoot up in Ohio. And
He-
and honestly, I don't. It's definitely in a town of 13,000 people. There's some woods there, right? So
Good. Bigfoot's invited too.
yeah. But let's talk about, just for maybe the first time Morgan County listener, Bigfoot movie.
Mm-hmm.
You want to read that?
Yeah, I figured I'd just read the synopsis, right?
Okay.
Of it, if that's what you call it. In a world full. No, I'm just kidding.
Where's Jake? We need his
Yeah,
movie
we
voice.
need his movie
Yeah.
voice. Yeah. He goes, in a world. All right, so it goes. Wouldn't that be funny though if you just busted out with that? So here's, like, if you're scrolling through Netflix and you're wanting to see, what a movie's about, this is what the description would be. After a string of animal mutilation in the Big Hammock, game warden Wayne is thrust into the shocking world of Bigfoot speculation. Meanwhile, a famous podcast crew ventures into the Big Hammock to finally get footage of the elusive creature. Things take a turn for the worse when they stumble upon something they should have never seen. Take an intense journey into a Central Florida swamp and discover a world full of twists you weren't expecting. So that's the description of what the movie is about. So normally when we, read that to people and it's like it's kind of your cliche but not cliche Bigfoot movie is basically what it is. It's always starting off with somebody trying to get footage of the creature, right? So that's your cliche.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also centered around a game warden that is investigating these events that are happening. And the town is like your known spot for Bigfoot sightings. So the town is trying to convince him that it's Bigfoot doing all these mutilations of the animals. And of course, cliche, he doesn't believe it. So that's kind of your...
Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and flat out tell you, it is not like every other Bigfoot movie. It is something special. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. You were just showing me interviews from just random people that went to the premiere, and their feedback on it. Legitimately, people, we've heard nothing but great feedback on this movie. Morgan County, this is a legitimate movie,
Yep.
independent film. We're coming from Ocala, Florida, to come see Morgan County, Ohio, and share this experience with them.
Represent, Zant.
Oh yeah. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah. So get your tickets online. They will be on the bighammock.com. So that's where you can purchase your tickets to the show. And hope to see you there.
Oh yeah.
Anything else?
Check.
And we're not live.
Nice.